Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Also check me out on Twitch as Floyd Mason. Hello, welcome back Spooks fans. We're back and we are on to book number 12. Be careful what you wish for. Ooh, getting some reflection there. There we go. Be careful what you wish for. Number 12 in the series, making some ground. I think we're over 10% through the books now. So this one, I'll do it over there, nicer. It's kind of got the girl here, the crystal ball, kind of foretelling a bit. I mean, title gives away a bit too, but this book involves some wishes. We have this edition as well. I can't remember, but I think I've heard other people talk about it. But I think the original cover is one that Tim Jacobus actually didn't do. I think it was one of the few that he didn't, possibly. And I don't have the other book because I feel like he redid it again. But I can't quite remember. But, I mean, honestly, they're both kind of on par. I actually think I like the original a little more. We'll get into it. There's not really anything to do with, I think she does kind of have a magic ball, but it's not like this. I think she just has a stone or something she pulls out. I honestly can't really remember exactly that part, but yeah, that's the cover. We'll get into it more at the end, but this is book 12. So this book is mainly about a girl named Samantha Bird, and basically she's just kind of described as very tallest girl in class. I think she's tallest student. So she's a very tall girl, very awkward, kind of in that late middle school age where everything's starting to kind of get just difficult, right? Like people just start kind of being crap to each other, picking on each other, and so she has a bully named Judith, and Judith has best friend Anna who also joins in. And basically, Judith is kind of very smart, talented basketball player, and so just everything kind of the opposite of what Samantha is. So it picks on her. So basically, it kind of starts. The whole book starts with Judith tripping Sam in class on when she's walking up to the board. And again, just right off the bat, the big thing they want to establish is that Samantha is being bullied by Judith. Judith and her can't stand each other. And that, Sam is tall, she's clumsy, she's kind of awkward, and Judith just picks on her relentlessly. So, so Sam's called to the front to do a question, and then it's made worse by, she gets the question wrong, and Judith kind of points out that she did her math wrong and makes her look silly in front of the class. A weird color too. For some reason, they established it early in the book, is that she calls all the teachers by their first names. It's just a really weird inclusion of just being like, oh, Maureen. Oh yeah, we call all teachers by their first name, and then they continue to do it throughout the book. Where at one point I kind of forgot what the basketball coach's name was, and was and I was just referring to her by her name, and I was like, who is this person? Why is this person? Oh, it's the coach. Right. Okay. So, it was just kind of a weird inclusion thing that he had in this book. So she trips her, makes her kind of look foolish. Then during lunch, she's talking to her friend Corey, who is, just kind of there. We'll get into it by the end, but Corey really doesn't add much to this story other than giving Sam a bit of something to bounce off of, but it really only shows him, I think, at the lunch sections. And he's just kind of, whatever, oh, don't let Judith get to you kind of deal. Oh, my dad makes me grilled cheese every day and I throw it out. So he just feels like a real throwaway character to me. I get you kind of need someone for Samantha to bounce stuff off of, but even in, I'm thinking back of Night of the Living Dummy also kind of had that with the main girls, one of the twins' friends who she kind of bounces jokes off of. But they seem to have more personality. Corey just doesn't really seem to have any, to me. Basically, again, he's just there for them to escalate again of how much they can't stand her. She's there, sitting with some grade 8s and being all cool, and Sam's sure they're talking about her. And then the next class, they have home ec together, and Judith drops a bunch of tapioca all over Sam's new shoes. So Sam kind of notes how her and Judith tend to work on different sides of the room, so like she had no reason to be anywhere near her, so she's sure it's intentional. Judith obviously swears it's not, and Sam kind of loses it and jumps on her and just starts like choking her. Which honestly, yeah, good on her. Like, getting bullied. Teacher kind of forces them to make up, and Judith is basically like, oh, one of those fake apologies, like, oh, I'm sorry that you think this happened, kind of deal. So doesn't really resolve anything. But again, then they have basketball practice coming up, and so it's kind of called out again. Sam's on the team because she's tall. The coach wanted her to try out. She is not very good. Judith is, of course, a star player. Just makes her look stupid all practice, and then during the game, Judith kind of goes up and I think catches her with like her knee into her stomach and basically knocks the wind out of her. So Sam's just kind of injured. Judith kind of helps her to go to the room. And honestly, like, this is the one part of the story where I want to give credence. The way it's written, it does sound like Judith tries to apologize here, and Sam just wants nothing of it. And so Judith is just like, well, F you then, kind of deal. But this is the one time where I think maybe Judith did. It was an accident. I mean, again, Sam's super awkward. Judith is driving the lane, and Sam maybe just gets in the way. But, the home ec one, there's no excusing that. The even like growing up, it's like, if someone trips you the way of the board, like, it's mean, especially if the kid's picked on by everyone. But it's kind of funny. Dropping tapioca over someone's new shoes, not cool. So Sam leaves basketball practice, and she decides she's going to ride her bike around to kind of just blow off some steam. It's pretty cold out, but she's like, I need to get some of this anger out. Like, that's 3 incidents in one day with Judith, so she just is hot-headed. So she's riding around in the rain to cool down, and she is kind of bikes by these woods, and she sees an old lady who looks lost. So she's kind of like, should I help her now? She's like, you know what, I definitely should. So she pulls over, and the woman's like, oh, I'm looking for this, like, this area, and Sam's like, oh, you're nowhere near it. It's way over here. Like, and the woman's like, oh, and so Sam decides, you know what, like, it's raining out. She seems really confused. I'm going to kind of just take her there. So Sam escorts this woman there, and the woman's like super ecstatic, and thank you so much. And so she tells her she's going to give her 3 wishes. And Sam's kind of like, okay, weird old lady. Doesn't think it's true, but she, the woman's like, oh, like, make your first wish, and kind of pushing her. So Sam she wishes to be the strongest on the basketball team, which, pretty fair risk, right? Like, she just had basketball practice. She was just embarrassed. So pretty good wish, So the woman whose name turned out to be Clarissa is like, wish granted. So Sam's like, weird, okay, weird lady, whatever. Did my good deed, gonna go home. So she goes home. She's kind of thinking about it all through dinner, and so she gets her brother, whose name is Ron, I think I wrote down here. Terrible names. So she gets her brother, and she's like, hey, like, let's play some basketball after dinner, because she wants to see if she's any better. And it leads up, and he's signed as a little cliffhanger, and she is worse. She's playing worse than ever. Definitely, she's missing like every shot. They play horse, and I think she gets him to like HO or something. Like, she just gets beat badly. So she's like, okay, yeah, clearly that woman's just, lying to me and doesn't really have that power. So she's like, yeah, we stink. So again, the next day, Judith is just picking on her again. Like, they're really trying to beat home that Judith just kind of terrorizes Sam and whatnot. They often refer to her as, I think it's Stork. They refer to her as a bird because her name is Samantha Bird, and she always says, "Why don't you fly away, bird?" Kind of as an insult, which it's mean, but it's pretty funny. Should be doing that, but as far as burns go, I feel like if someone made that about me, I'd be like, it's good. It just makes me think of D. Reynolds as well from Always Sunny, because I always call her a bird. So I don't know. Shouldn't be doing it. Don't bully kids. It's very mean. No need to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, so they have a big basketball game. Judith is picking on her again. It's like, hey, like, maybe you don't show up, Sam. Like, we really want to win this game. Like, and you're awful. So Samantha's like, oh, I'm going. And so she gets there, and the rest of the team just is so sluggish and like can barely stay awake and can't move. And they're getting trounced by the other team. Like Sam's trying to do stuff, but she still stinks. So they're just getting beat, and the rest of the team just, can't do anything. And then she realizes that her wish did come true, but instead of her getting stronger, the rest of the team just got weak, and they're all sick. So she's actually worried that she's like killed them because they all seem so sick. None of them are in school the next day. So she tells Corey about it. She's like, oh, I met this old woman and she granted me this wish, and that's what happened. And Corey's like, no, like any friend would be like, yeah, like that's not a real thing. Like they're just sick, is what it is. So they go to like the office to see them, and he does a little scare like, oh, they're gone. And he's like, yeah, gone because they're homesick. And it's like, okay, like, nobody would speak like that. A little bit of a weak cliffhanger on that one, Stein, but the whole team is out sick. So she ends up calling Judith to see how she is, and Judith kind of accuses her of causing it because she is the only one on the team that's not sick. And then Sam gets like super angry and hangs up on her. It's like, I mean, you did do this though, so like I get you're mad because she's like, how dare she accuse me? It's like, well, she's right, nailed it, but whatever. So she decides she needs to find the old woman again and fix this wish. So she goes biking around, can't find her, and it's getting late. So she decides she actually wants to go see Judith. So when she's there, basically she goes up, and Judith again, like, I don't know why she goes to see Judith. Like, it's just like, I know you're kind of feeling guilty, but it's not going to help. And Judith basically accuses her of being a witch, and all the girls think she's a witch. And Sam gets so upset, she's like, oh, well, I wouldn't have done this if you weren't always so mean to me, which basically spilling the beans that, like, she did do something. So Judith loses it and starts, like, screaming at her, and so Sam just runs out of the house, and kind of in that thing, she's like, oh, I just wish, like, she would disappear. And, of course, Clarissa's there. Skipped over a point earlier. It's kind of relevant to this point. But when they're playing basketball, she wishes that her brother would shrink. And then it kind of does this thing, and it's like, he has shrunk, but it's just their dog. So we'll get to it later, but for some reason, Clarissa is hanging outside Judith's house for whatever reason. But what didn't catch the real second wish, and then so this is the second wish. But yeah, so she wishes she would disappear. Sam goes home, goes to bed, wakes up the next day, and she's late. Nobody woke her up. She goes downstairs. No one in her family's there. She's like, oh my God, I'm so late. So she bikes to school, and she sees nobody, and she gets to school, and just there's nobody there. So everyone has disappeared. So she waits for Judith to disappear, but apparently everyone did. So she just wanders around for a while. She goes home, and finally Clarissa kind of lets herself into the house, and she's like, Clarissa, like, this isn't what I want. And Clarissa seems genuinely upset. She's like, I want to make you happy. Like, I'm doing these wishes the best I can, the best I know how. I want to thank you. Like, please, like, do your third wish. I'll make it up to you. So Sam thinks on it for a while because she wants to get the wording exactly right. And so she wishes that her last wish will be null and void, and everything will go back to normal, except that Judith will think that she's great. So Clarissa does this, and basically what happens is the next day, everyone's back, and no one, seems to notice being gone. But when she goes to school, Judith is, like, obsessed with her. Like she can't stop talking to her. Like, she tries to sit with her. Like, she blows off her friend Anna. She's just, like, she starts to kind of try to copy her style. When they play basketball, like, she's copying what she's doing. And, like, if Sam turns the ball over, then Judith will do it. Just copy her. Like, it's that thing. It's like, oh, it seems like a great idea, but it would get so annoying so quickly if someone was just like that, almost stalkerish. Judith also lets herself into her. I think she sneaks into her house and like is hiding in her closet because Sam said that maybe they could do their homework later. And it's basically like Sam's going to bed like it's that late, so she's just like full on stalker now, just super creepy, just following her around, like won't let her out of her sight. I can't remember. At some point too, she tells her brother as well what's going on. I can't remember if it's before it must be after the second wish, because I think she tells him that, because they're talking about playing. I think the night before he disappears, they talk about playing basketball, but she doesn't want to, and they play like ping pong. I think she tells him, and it's the same thing as Corey, who I don't think we hear from again. I think he's only in like 3 scenes, and brother also just doesn't believe her. So basically, she's still upset. She's like, "Oh my god, I've used my last wish, and now Judith is obsessed with me, and this is even worse." And Clarissa shows up, and she's again like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I just want you to be happy. Like, you were so nice to me." And she's very sad about it. She's like, "I'm going to give you one more wish. Like, I'm going to make this right. You can have a 4th wish. Please tell me what you want." So Sam wishes that Judith had been the one to help Clarissa, not her. Clarissa's like, "Sure, that's what you want." And Sam's like, "Yes." So it kind of cuts the next day, and it's kind of talking about Sam, and she sees Judith, and she sees her with Clarissa, and she's like, "Oh, like, clearly she met her, and like, Judith must have got her wish because she looks happy." And then it kind of alludes, and she's pecking a worm, and you realize that she is now a bird, and so Judith had made her wish, and her wish was that Samantha Bird would become a bird and fly away bird, like she said, throughout most of the book. And that's how it kind of ends. So this book, I think, at least of the ones I've read so far, is definitely one of the weakest. There's just not a lot. There's not really any good characters in it, honestly. I think it's the big problem. Like I was saying with Corey, he's just such a throwaway character. He's only there for 2 or 3 scenes, just to kind of give Samantha a bit of a sounding board. It's not bad in the part of like, they establish the bullying well. And again, like, I don't like a lot of supernatural stuff, but the wishes thing is fine. Like, whatever, it doesn't break the illusion. Like, again, it's mostly consistent, except for the fact, to me, that Clarissa wants to help Sam so much. Like, you can tell that she's upset when she doesn't like her 3rd wish and gives her the 4th. She's upset as well. But none of the wishes are what she asked for. And I think that would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that Judith gets her wish. I actually really like the ending. I think it's very funny that Judith turns her into the bird. Like, and like, I think Stein did a great job, like, of kind of working in where you're not realizing at first, and then she's kind of pecking at a worm. You're like, wait, what's going on here? And then she flies away, and you're like, oh, she's a bird. Judith did get her wish. Like, obviously that's what she would wish for. So I actually think the ending's really well written, but especially the second wish, like, being strong with everyone, okay, she got that backwards, whatever. But asking for Judith to disappear and everyone disappears is just like, what? Like, how did that happen? Like, how did this get mixed up? The other one where she likes her too much, that makes sense. Like, she just overdid it with liking her. It's not like she, oh, yeah, I like her. Like, you're my friend, like Anna now. It's like obsession with her. So it's a little weak. I also don't like the fact that for some reason she is hanging around Judith's house and hears the second wish, but she doesn't catch the wish where she wishes her brother would shrink or be smaller or whatever she says about him. So it just kind of, again, I don't mind when, obviously a lot of these books have a little sci-fi to them, when it's kind of following its own rules, but I feel like this one isn't. I feel like it breaks its own rules, and it's just kind of inconsistent. So this one just kind of falls flat. Therefore, I think this book is a C. It's not terrible. I'm leaving the D. I think I'm only going down to D. I'm leaving the D for stories that really stink. This one has good moments. I think he establishes kind of the bullying well. Again, I like that. I do think Judith was actually sorry about the basketball incident, and so it kind of shows that, like, yeah, she's a bully, but like she doesn't want to hurt her. And then, Sam, you can kind of see why she gets her frustrations and what's going on, and like, she's mostly well written, but it's just, like I said, Corey is such a throwaway character. Her brother also is as well, and the fact that Clarissa gets the wishes so wrong and it doesn't kind of follow that, it just kind of falls short. I think it's the only so it Monster Blood are currently the only 2 C's, which makes sense to me. They're not, neither one is bad. and like I'm fine with both stories. I would say I maybe like this one a little more than Monster Blood, but it's close. But they just don't really. They're just kind of too repetitive about the same. The same item just keeps going on. I think is the problem in both. Monster Blood is just kind of like, oh, it keeps growing, and with this one, it's like, oh, like her wish didn't go as she wanted, and so she's trying to find her again to make a new wish, and like, I find it really weird. Like her calling Judith and stuff is so out of character. Like I get she's worried that she's killing her, but I would have been like, I need to find and get rid of my wish ASAP. Like I would not be going anywhere near Judith. So yeah, it's a C. Ending's good. I like the last 2-3 paragraphs of kind of finding out she's a bird. I think that was really clever. I think Clarissa and her being upset about the wishes is well written as well. But there's just not enough going on in the story for it to be any higher than that. As for the cover, this unfortunately again is also one that I just find a bit boring. Like it's not completely inaccurate. Like assuming this is Sam and a woman does use some powers to grant the wishes, but I don't know. It just doesn't kind of fit what I feel for the book. I like the coloring. I mean, her face is drawn well. Like it looks fine, but it's just not exciting or interesting. Like this is not one if I walked into my library as a kid and I saw this one up against, say, the next one we're gonna do, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, or even say like Monster Blood. I just wouldn't grab this one. I really like the coloring. I think the picture is well done, but it's not grabbing you to read this story. So I'm also going to give this one a C. So unfortunately, both parts of this book get a C, which is kind of a bummer. But they can't all be A's. I mean, to me, a C is still good, right? Like I still really enjoy all these, but I wouldn't, and I'd be telling people to read the S and A's. Like the B's is like, you can get to them once you get through them. And C's it's like, why not? But don't start there. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. 2 C's, unfortunate, but hey, is what it is. We'll see if we can pick it up on the next one. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I've already read that one, so I have to write up my notes and do it soon. And I've started the Werewolf Fever Swamp, and that one's fun because it is the first book I remember nothing about. So Ghost Next Door was the first one I didn't really remember much, but I knew some stuff about it. I didn't quite remember that she was dead, but it was like reading basically the first chapter. I was like, oh yeah, she's dead. So that one I kind of figured out quick. This one I literally do not remember anything about it. So I'm really excited to read it. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. Again, if you like this book too, or maybe I missed something, maybe you like it more than I did, feel free to write some comments. Let me know anything in these videos. Again, these are just for fun. I try to keep them pretty simple. Just really talk about it. I also have to write down all my notes because I have the worst memory and cannot remember the order of things that happen. So is what it is. If you see me looking down a lot, that's what's going on. But I will. Thanks for watching. Please click to check out my other videos, like and subscribe, and come by Twitch under Floyd Mason to join my live streams.